This is the Happily Living podcast, where we discuss how to better ourselves by developing routines that set us up for a better existence, uncovering deeper connections with nature, and growing awareness, leaving you with a new relationship between you and the world. Let's get into it. Hi, lovies. Welcome back to another episode on the Happily Living podcast. If you are new, welcome. I am your host, Gabrielle Brown, and today is a fun one. Today, we discuss sustainability at home. I love home decor. That is one of my favorite shopping categories. I will always, if I go to TJ Maxx, it's for home decor. And I definitely miss out on the clothes, but I love home decor. And the amount of times that I said home decor in the past sentence or two is kind of a lot. So, but, by the time I will move into my first home, I'll literally have everything I need. I'm pretty sure. Which is honestly a cap for me. Straight up proud of myself, but also knowing that I probably shouldn't buy any more things. So I've been very proud of myself because I haven't been doing that recently. I've not been buying anything every season because I love, seasonal decorating and holiday decorating and decorating in general, and my roommates know this. And I've gotten a lot better, but when I do find things that I love, it has to follow my 3 guideline, a criteria, right? It has to be made out of wood, glass, or metal, or, just sometimes things aren't made out of these materials for certain things that we're looking for. But when I can find it compostable, or things made out of plant fibers, or if it's bamboo and cotton, and it's a sustainable, eco-friendly brand, then I'll definitely do it. And not only do I get so freaking happy finding these things that are very good for our planet, and I'm just okay, I can get this, cool beans, but I also have to be aware that I'm not just buying just to buy. I'm buying because I'm gonna put it to good use. And when I find these things, not only is it super exciting in itself, but I'm so against plastic. Now, why am I so against plastic? Plastic production is one thing I refuse to let myself get behind and support. And by buying plastic items, it is a method of support. I only get onto myself when I know that there are more eco-friendly alternatives. And one thing that pushes me to have this mindset all these years is knowing the little use that we have them for, how temporary it is, versus how long they end up being on this planet. I was talking to my sister the other day, and I was saying about how it's so easy, especially when you have the financial freedom, to just replace items all the time and not care if you have them, let's say, plugged in all day for lights, or used balloons for a single birthday party, or whatever it may be. But in the end, it's still here on this earth, actually outliving ourselves because it doesn't degrade. So even though it's an out of sight, out of mind type of thing, it shouldn't be. Having Christmas lights, having them lit all day long, all night long, and then they burn out, and then you're okay, I'll just go buy new ones. It's not that we shouldn't, feel okay, yeah, that's no big deal. I have the money. It's not I could care less. It's more about the fact that is going to outlive us. These Christmas lights will be here on this planet for longer than we are without degrading, bro. And let's say you replace 16 lights throughout the year, 16 strands of Christmas lights every year, just you alone. That is a lot. That is a lot that's just going to sit here on this planet. And who knows what kind of damage it will do. But let's say about balloons. You get happy birthday balloons, and you're not going to store them. Where are you going to store them? There's no point in keeping them. So you throw them out, but then you buy some more for all the other birthdays or all the other celebrations when you can use those letters again for other things, It's just the word app games where you can rearrange letters to make various different words. You can do that with birthday signs too. You can switch around the letters and use it for various things that you're hosting for. But it's not hoarding, you guys. Hoarding isn't keeping things that you're going to use again. That's being sustainable. That's being eco-friendly and conscious of the impact that you have on this planet, and knowing that, like, okay, maybe I don't care about saving money, but knowing that this is going to be here longer than I am, maybe I should just use it until it's no longer like good, like until the balloons pop, until the lights actually stop working because I use a timer, So instead of like having them on all day, you can put a timer for all of those lights. Another example we may use is grocery bags for the time between the store and when we get home. Give or take 30 minutes. Once we're done with them, they're not done on this earth. So we have them for 30 minutes and then they take 2 decades to decompose. That's kind of crazy. That's literally crazy. Do you know how many bags we go through? And we're like, oh, okay, I'm just going to throw it away. Actually, you can take them to the grocery store, but I'm not going to get ahead of myself. But those bags are so thin too. It's insane. It's insane. And instead of using plastic bags, I put everything in my car. And then I check out and then I put them all back into my car and I bring them to my car. And when I open my trunk, I have a laundry basket that I put everything in. And that way I can do a one trip from my car to the house when I bring in groceries. And not only does it save me time from taking everything out of the bags, it also saves me energy from going back and forth to the car, and it gives me peace knowing that I'm not contributing to single-use plastic consumption. And some of you may be like, that's great for you, but I'm not doing that. I'm sure you've been told to start bringing in reusable bags, but I have a feeling every time you get inside, you somehow forget to bring those bags in. I've been that person. Now, you can use the exact same method and just fill your bags in the car, just like I do with my laundry basket. So instead of, you forget to bring your bags in, you don't have to get the plastic bags. Just keep it in your cart, pull it out to your car, fill those bags when you get to your car, and then put the cart in those little shopping aisles. That's why they have them out there. You don't have to leave the carts in the store just because you don't want to take a trip back. Like, they're really not that far. Don't be lazy. You can do it, I promise you. Or you may forget too that, like, you go in, you forgot, like, oh, I have fillable bags in my car, and then you end up just using those plastic bags. Okay? Did you know that grocery stores actually recycle those bags? That if you bring all of those plastic bags back to the store, when you go back to the store, you don't have to make your trip way out. Like, you just bring it back when you go back. And they have a little spot in the entry or exit where you can drop them off. No matter the name on them or where they came from, they will take those plastic bags and recycle them to reuse. But of course, I still recommend just filling your bags or laundry basket in the car and staying away from single-use plastic, but there are other options. Now, let's say you have a lot of plastic items at home, anywhere from cooking utensils to Tupperware to even Ziploc bags and water bottles. First off, let me start by saying that it is literally impossible to live plastic-free at home. I know that. I'm aware of that. But the single-use plastics and the plastic items that have alternatives are the items I'm referring to. And it's long overdue that we switch up our lifestyle choices. Not only that, but there are some seriously cool hacks that I'm going to share with you guys on this episode that I do myself, and they aren't reliant on plastic in your household. Plastic actually contains harmful chemicals that leak through their use of them, degradation, and even through the air that we breathe. Which is crazy to think about. But recently there has been handfuls of lawsuits against like paper and plastic cups that believed that they're more paper, like coffee cups at Starbucks or wherever else. These cups release what is called PFAS, a carcinogenic substance that secretes into our liquids or foods and therefore enters our bodies and can alter that cell reproduction and lead to cancer. And it is beyond harmful to us, but it's also harmful to our environment. So when it leaks these substances in our waters, it can be refiltered into our air we breathe or even the water we drink through the water cycle. So as water evaporates, right, into the atmosphere, these plastics that are leaking chemicals into our water gets evaporated into the atmosphere. And therefore they enter our bodies through the air we breathe or through rainfall or whatever else. And it takes over 200 years for a single plastic water bottle that you get at the store to decompose. 200 years. 200 years. Do you know how many plastic water water bottles I have personally used. That's crazy. That means it lives on this earth longer than you, and it has as much damage to our bodies and environment as cigarettes do to our lungs. And there's even like plastic in cigarettes. In the filter, they put some type of plastic particle in it. I don't know why. I care less to question it anymore, but they do. So think about the plastic Tupperware you use, or the styrofoam to-go containers you have your leftover food in. Now think about heating it up in the microwave. These chemicals leak into your food and then are therefore in your body when you eat. Now think about having glass Tupperware or heating up your leftovers in compostable to-go containers. Nothing is leaking into your food. You and your environment is far safer through a simple switch that you took part in. And not only have I switched out plastic Tupperware for glass Tupperware, but I've also purchased wood cooking utensils and large mason jars to hold my fruits in. Totally unrelated, but these are just examples of the changes I've made at home to make a more bodily and environmentally friendly home for myself. And by switching my cooking utensils to wood utensils, I know my food won't be contaminated with plastic particles when cooking, nor will my utensils have a damaging effect on the ecosystem because they'll be able to degrade just fine. Another hack I'd like to further go into is the mason jars. Man, I love mason jars. For one, I love filling it up with water in the morning and putting like a little slice of lemon and a glass straw in it and staying hydrated throughout the day. And it's also aesthetic as ever. But I also like using them for my fruits. So if I put all my blueberries into a mason jar, it actually lengthens the time I will have them for versus keeping them in those plastic clamshells they come in. And I also like to use the plastic clamshells for growing seedlings for lemons, strawberries, and various other produce for my garden, so that way it's not just like a single use thing, because sometimes there's things that you have a hard time avoiding. So I try to make these containers for multiple uses before I recycle them or throw them away. And you might say, you know, what is the difference between using the clamshells for produce and them leaking chemicals into your plants? Good question. The type of plastic the clamshell is determines the level of toxicity to our bodies. And it doesn't even have to be clamshell, it's various plastic containers. So since these are most of the time, if not all of the time, 1 or 2, the number in the triangle, they take a longer time for the chemicals to actually leach into the soil, right? If I use it for seedlings. And with the presence of the soil and watering it, the sun won't be able to penetrate the plastic enough to heat it up in order to fully reach out through the soil into the roots before I take that seedling out of the container and switch it into a pot. And this is important to know because if you want to be resourceful at the house, you can be. Now I'm going to make a link for you guys. I've provided links for all of the things that I talk about throughout the podcast, and any of you who want to dive deeper into the understanding of this specific concept. This one is gardenmyths.com/growing-food-plastic-containers-safe / With the use of plastic surrounded in soil and water, like I said, the sun won't be able to reach the plastic enough to penetrate the chemicals through the soil. And the 1 or a 2 has a much lower level of toxicity of plastic in general. But I am still personally looking for a bulk food store. Now, if you aren't aware of a bulk food store, it is a grocery store that carries food in bulk without using plastic containers, and you bring your own fillable containers. And this minimizes plastic consumption and is a great way to be sustainable. And I really, really like saving pasta jars, pickle jars, banana pepper jars, various things that come in glass jars. I will save those. I'll put it in my dishwasher, I'll clean off the little seal or paper wrap, and then I'll use that for bulk food stuff. I'm literally preparing for the future because I haven't gotten to find a bulk food store yet, but I have it, which is perfect. And I've also found where to find them. So this upcoming grocery haul, I will go to one. Go to www.litterlist.com/where to shop to find bulk stores near you. And again, this will definitely be linked in the caption. Now, this is only for those in the United States, but for my listeners outside, feel free to reach out to me if you are interested and need help finding some at thehappilylivingpodcast@gmail.com. Now, another thing I want to mention before moving on to our next hack is the fact that I have dropped my blue mason jars. I need to get my own place so that way I can have my own office, and I already know my sister's gonna be like, that's not gonna change anything. Well, you know what? I'll figure something out so that way it'll be a quiet environment for my listeners. Okay. Anyway, so I've dropped my blue mason jars multiple times and they have never broken. They are so sturdy and thick and I absolutely love them. And you can also buy these in bulk at your local grocery store, or you can find some sweet steals at your local thrift store, which I would recommend first before doing it at a grocery store, but they're super, super cheap. And they're great for everything. Fruits, water, anything you name it. And I have actually gotten Ben into using mason jars, and he will make overnight oats and have them in the smaller mason jars and basically prep his breakfast for the whole week. And it really works out for him. And it also looks very aesthetic in the fridge. And try it out, see how you like it. Now, the next hack I'd like to suggest is less of a hack and more of a kind soul move. Do not throw away your batteries, people. Do not. It doesn't matter if your parents do. It doesn't matter if you've always done it. Do not throw them away. Do not. It is so bad for the soil and our environment, not to mention extremely toxic and hazardous, and affects low-income communities that are close to these landfills. So there's various things that we throw away that's, again, out of sight, out of mind, that affects these communities that live neighboring to these landfills, and affects the soil. It affects everything. So if you could care less about the landfills, at least care for these communities. And what I do is put them all in the same paper bag until it's full. So I don't have to like put them in random spots and then find them later and be like, is this a good battery? Like, just put them all in one spot. And then once it's full, take it to Best Buy, or there's other places you can Google, but I take mine to Best Buy and they will dispose of them properly. And that way it can be done in one errand run, and I feel good about my part in this world. And no, it's not convenient, but honestly, nothing worth it is ever easy. And I'm sure you've heard me say that before and will definitely hear me say it again. But people, stop being lazy. It really isn't that big of a deal. And if you have a car to take them to Best Buy, then just please be just thinking about all of these other people that don't have a car and aren't able to make sustainable options because they can't afford to, and how they could be affected by the first world decisions we make. This is a lot bigger than just an inconvenience because you want to just hang out at home and throw them away. Literally drop them off when you're out and about anyways, and then you don't have to make it as out of the way for you. There are ways, people. Be proud of yourself for doing the right thing and making a positive impact. And in the long run for us, anything bad for the planet affects us. And my cinnamon rolls are ready. You guys, those cinnamon rolls were so good, by the way. Okay, so moving back to a positive light, switching to alternatives is very beneficial to us. And over time, we will notice a huge difference in ourselves, both physically and mentally. By switching plastic water bottles that you reuse to stainless steel water bottles, or even better, glass water bottles, is not only better for ourselves, our environment, but it's also, they don't have to be washed as often and hold less germs and bacteria as a plastic water bottle does. Continuing on this little eco-friendly change in our life, from one of my favorite websites, Cotton Mart, I've been exposed to the new alternative of paper towels. The Swedish dishcloth is what they call it, and these eco-friendly towel substitutes can absorb spills up to 20 times their weight and are produced from natural renewable fibers. They come in a variety of colors and patterns that, are appropriate for any time of the year for decorating, and they can also replace 17 rolls of paper towels. 17 rolls. Those big fat rolls from like Bounty. Simply load them into your washer or dishwasher to clean them, and they'll be prepared for the next cleaning session. They replace the countless purchases of paper towels and the enormous amount of waste in our garbage can. That's crazy. We love that. We love that so much. Now, let's talk about laundry. I have very sensitive skin. I have eczema, and so I get itchy and rashy very easy, and I'm unable to get any old laundry detergent. Now, since I've been doing more loads with Lululemon apparel because my boyfriend spoils me, I have learned that laundry softener is actually a no-go when it comes to caring for your clothes. It actually breaks down the fibers and wears out your clothes faster over time. And not to mention, the dryer sheets with the fabric softener in them are filled with phthalates and various chemicals that are very harmful to you and the environment, not to mention more trash. So when it comes to laundry, I have my two go-to items. Ecos laundry detergent from Costco, which is environmentally friendly, pH balanced, and gentle for even bebés. Love you, Moiros. But it's also in a biodegradable plant-based container and is cheaper and more volume than most other detergents I have purchased before. I've literally only purchased two, in the entire year. The entire year. 2 for 1 year. You guys, let's be honest. You guys have purchased a lot more detergents in the entire year than just 2. My second go-to item is dryer balls. I like to put them into the dryer and it takes the lint off my clothes and is reusable as many times as I like. It doesn't affect my clothes by breaking them down or anything, and I don't have to keep purchasing dryer sheets. But I also put essential oil drops, which helps my clothes smell so good afterwards. And I really like to use the lemon oil for my kitchen towels and lavender for my bathroom towels and sheets for my bed, and it makes it smell so good, and it doesn't affect my skin, and it's much safer for my body and the environment. And not to mention, I save quite the money compared to the alternative. So let's consolidate, shall we? We talked about glass Tupperware, mason jars, stainless steel, or better yet, glass water bottles. We talked about glass straws and even metal straws. Those are also great. We talked about the Swedish cloth, Ecos laundry detergent, dryer balls, essential oils, and even bookstores. And I, of course, could talk about eco-friendly alternatives for days, but these were the handful that started me on the switch to a healthier and sustainable home life that I think will resonate with you all a little bit more on this journey, as I'm sure some of you would like to make the switch but need some more guidance to do so. And so I hope these alternatives work for you and help that beginning part of your journey be a little bit easier of a transition. Now, I added an extra link below in the caption. It's starting with www.sustainability.vic.gov.au, and it has a bunch on the backslash. This site is super cool because it has handfuls of links to further your understanding of sustainably friendly ways that we can apply to our everyday lives. Now, if you listen to this episode all the way through, go ahead and comment a green emoji of your choice on my Insta post on November 16th. But I appreciate all the love and support and look forward to next week's episode on this season of Love Your Mother. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and leave a review of what you think of this episode. Tag me in your Insta story as you listen to this. I am your host, Gabrielle Brown. Have a great rest of your week and weekend with love and light.